So hi everybody, welcome to, what is it, November 9th, day after election day, all the craziness happening, but we have some awesome stuff for you tonight. We have a guest speaker on the call. I talked to you guys a little bit about her, but I've had Megan Sayani, who you guys know is my success partner, and what Sarah Try is to me is kind of what Lauren is to Megan Sayani. So a lot of you guys know who Sarah Try is. So she's awesome. She has a lot of really cool stuff that she's going to be talking to you guys or us about tonight. And what she's going to talk about, the reason why I really wanted her to talk about this is because you guys learn a bunch of stuff. You know, we have a really big downline. Their downline is huge as well. So you guys have a lot of different trainings. And I always think it's really good to hear from different coaches because nobody in this business runs their business the same. You know, things are always going to change. People are going to do things differently. And I always tell you guys, the way I teach you because that's what works for me best. But that doesn't mean that it might work for you. I always tell you, if you think my idea is crap, that's fine. But if you find a way that works for you, great. So she's going to share some stuff about some systems, challenge group, from challenge group to coach and all of that stuff. So a little bit about Lauren. She's an executive leader on the leadership ladder, 3-time elite coach, 9-star diamond in her first business center, 2-star diamond in her second business center. She's a Success Club legend and the founder of Team FitForce. So with that said, I will let you take over, Lauren. I will mute myself and you can go.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I don't know why there we go. And I'm excited to talk to you guys about this. So for me, basically, what I wanted to talk to you guys most about, I know Alexis said it's like systems, but in my mind, when it comes to this business, because it's really how my business started, it's all based around a challenge group. So when you talk about a system, it's usually like you have a goal in mind and there's a way in which you work those goals. And for me, and what I try to teach my team is that it's based around your challenge groups, which is kind of ironic because now coach or corporate has this new vital process, which is exactly what I'm gonna share with you guys basically. And I didn't even know that existed when I came up with this like presentation. I've done it a couple of times and it's all kind of based around that same ideal that when it comes to working with your coaches or getting your coaches started and having successful coaches, it's having a system in which they can follow and duplicate easily. And it's not necessarily saying that they have to do the exact same thing as what you're doing, but it's knowing where to start and what to work with, when to be posting, how to work with things. I know Alexis has her system for how she holds conversations with people and how she gets them started. And it kind of is the same. It's the same thing. It's just that for me, it's based around like the love of a challenge group and helping people fall in love with a product and fall so much in love with the community and the results and everything that being a coach is really a no-brainer for them, because by the time they're out of your challenge group, they're already kind of coaches. So my goal of this is to make you walk away from this and have you be so much in love with the idea of doing a challenge group and the system in which I get those started and how I move coaches or people through them to become coaches. I want you guys to be able to do the same thing and not have that, like, some people get overwhelmed by challenge groups, or they run challenge groups and they don't necessarily know how do you convert people out? And if you're doing your challenge groups the way that I'm going to share with you, it's really, you've already converted them. All you have to do is ask the question. So, just a little back for you guys with me and my story is that when I started, I was kind of like that mom before. I had this perfect dreamy life where I jet set around the world, and I was married to a baseball player, and we had this great, wonderful life. Like, seriously, things were perfect in my mind. And then everything crashed. And starting in, it's this whole election thing's talking about it. What was the year that the stock market started going down and all of that nonsense? I think it was like 2008, 2009 maybe. Well, that's when it all started happening for us. And it started to go down there. We were still trying to get by, but it was like our finances kind of just disappeared. My husband retired and we had a baby. our house caught on fire. And it was just like one thing after another. We took hit after hit after hit until we hit what was like that rock bottom. And it was kind of like, okay, I was scared to swipe my credit card at the grocery store, kind of scary stuff. And so I got asked to be a part of the Beachbody thing by my coach 12 months before I actually said yes. And I was already in love with the product. I had already done Insanity, gotten the best results ever, and like was in love with it. But I wanted no part of being a coach. So just with that just shows you don't ever give up on somebody, because you never know. For me, it was just the wrong timing in my life to be a Beachbody coach. And I believe that the timing in which I said yes was absolutely divine and perfect timing for me, because I was ready to run with the business. I had a reason that was big enough to make me want to run with this business. And it was for me, it was for my family. And so I was that mom that had like the, one headphone in all the time, learning everything that I could and just doing everything that I could to make this business work. And that started with making my coaches fall in love with a product and having a really great experience. So this is like a crazy statistic, but all of my Star Diamond coaches in my organization are part of my original 8 girls. So it's crazy, right? So, and that's because I had no clue what I was doing. I had no clue. And I really just I didn't make them, but we just had fun together, and we just fell in love with what we were doing, and they saw results. And whether or not they were working this business right now, they would still be using Beachbody programs. They would still be using our products, and they would still be talking about them, whether they were making money off of them or not. And that's the key factor that you have to remember when you're talking to people. It's not looking at people as success club points. It's not looking at people as like when you're starting those conversations that Alexis is so amazing at teaching you guys how to do. It's not looking at those people as how can I convert you? It's looking at those people as, I want to hang out with you. I want to go spend a week in the mountains with you, but I need to figure like, you got to figure out if that's your girl. Like, do you want to go lock yourself in a house with these people for 5 days? Because if they become Star Diamonds or whatever you hold retreats for one day, you're going to be stuck in a house with those people, and they have to fit your mold, So this all starts with challenge groups, because you meet people. This is like your way of dating them and getting to know how they are. And I'm a big proponent of, you can say no if you don't feel like somebody is a good fit for you. You can kick them out. You can, not offer to have them join your team as a coach, no matter how good you think they are, if you think that they are not going to be a good fit. So the core driving force of your business is going to start from the experience that you give people. So to really grow your business, it's bringing in those quality coaches that you get along with, that are going to be brand ambassadors for you, for this company, and people who you have a connection with. So the point of a challenge group and kind of the point of this business, and Carl talked about this at our leadership event that we just had, it's you want to be building a results portfolio. Like Carl carries around this little white binder with him everywhere that he goes, and it's his results portfolio, because if anybody ever gives him flack about it, he's like, oh yeah, well guess what, I've got like 100,000 of these right here that say that our stuff works. So you want to be doing the same thing for yourself, is that when you're running a challenge group, your goal is to get people results. And when you're talking to people, it's figuring out what it is that those results are going to be. Is it going to be a financial transformation? Maybe it's somebody like me, and it's not really a physical transformation as much, but you have to know those people going into it. So it all starts with your conversations. So I have like a little PowerPoint, if you want me to use it, Alexis, that goes kind of with this, but I'm going to kind of go off a little bit because part of what you wanted me to talk about is the system. But okay, cool. So I'm going to share my screen real quick with you guys. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this first slide because you guys all understand and you know what a challenge group is. So let me press play and see if that works. Is that Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So what's a challenge group and why are they important? I feel like this is super important for everybody to really be clear about. And we kind of already touched on it. I kind of got a little bit ahead of myself. But you have to realize that your challenge group is basically a complimentary service that comes with when they buy that program or that product. So you want to make sure that they become part of your community. You want them to become part of your tribe. You want them to love what you're doing and having so much fun. Look, think about Shalene and all of those people that get into like her Success Starters Academy. They love that so much and they get such amazing results that the moment she posts like marketing impact or confidence club or whatever, or look at Josh Coates, he gets people to love what he does, that the second he posts one other thing, they're like, yes, I want to do it. So that's kind of how you have to look at your challenge groups is you want people to be so in love with what you're doing that the second that you say new program or new challenge group, they're like, yes, I have to be a part of that. And don't look at your people. Like I hear this all the time and it's like nails on a chalkboard for me. I have repeat customers in my challenge groups all the time. That's good. That is a good thing. You want repeat customers. You want loyal customers that are going to help you sell products in your challenge groups because they can answer questions for you. They have no financial gain. They have no financial benefit. And you want them to eventually have a financial benefit, right? So you need them to constantly follow you so that so when they are selling products in your challenge group and they're answering questions for people and they're cheering people on, you can be like, hey, you know what? You've been doing such a good job. Have you ever thought about doing this yourself? Because you just totally sold that girl in that program and you could have made the money on that. Like you have to get people to love that. So building those relationships and those results for people are key, and it's okay to have extras. So you want to provide your customers in your challenge group with these things. You want to make sure that your challenge group isn't just like, hey, show up and post a sweaty selfie. It needs to be more than that. And I'm going to share more information about that. But it's valuable information. You want to give them guidance on their programs. You can't do it for them. So don't ever promise somebody, hey, I'm going to do this for you. You're not. So be careful what you're saying in your posts. And we're going to get to that in a second. Don't ever promise somebody that you're going to do something for them, because in the sense of, I'm going to, get you these results. No, you're not. They're going to get it for themselves, but you're going to give them the tools and the guidance that they need to get there. So you want to make sure that they're having fun, which means that we'll get to that too. That's more than just sweaty selfies and workouts. You want to make sure that you're encouraging like that community environment. You want people to find their people. You want people to find their tribe, and you're trying to find yours. So ask them questions about themselves and all of that. So, and you're going to give them the support in the community environment. Make sure we already talked about that. Provide an amazing experience, because your challenge groups are going to provide you with this: loyal customers, future coaches, referrals, and results. So in getting started, this is the start of like my system and how I work this. It comes with building that trust with people. You're going to be building trust, and that comes in your conversations and how you're posting about things. So when you're getting started, you want your group to have the right vibe, and that vibe starts with how you're putting it out there. It starts with you and how you're putting yourself out there in social media. And that means that you need to make sure that your group is organized, and that it's not just like, hey, I have this idea, let me just throw this out there and see what happens. So you need to know ahead of time, like, what is your challenge group going to be? You need to know when and where you're going to run it. Are you going to do it on the Challenge Tracker app? Are you going to do it on Facebook? I've heard people doing Snapchat ones, but I don't really know how that works. If y'all are Snapchatters, then more power to you. I'm not a Snapchatter. I literally just Snapchat to play with filters. But you have to know these things. How are you going to do it? If you are posting about it on Instagram and you're running it on Facebook or Challenge Tracker app, you have to know ahead of time how you're going to get people from place A to place B. So that's important to know. Are you going to co-host it? Are you going to are you going to run it with your coach? Are you going to run it with, how are you going to do that? Create the group page ahead of time before you actually make like a call to action post, so that when people say yes, you can add them into it. Make sure your group is organized. And what I mean by organized is that you want it to be a really great experience for your customers. You don't want people to feel like they're getting lost in things. So before I even put out posts about my challenge group, I already have my group set up. And I do Challenge Tracker app. I know that it's amazing. And yes, I love it, but there are things that I don't like about it. And for me personally, my customers don't like it. And they don't like it because I'm a live freak and you can't go live in there. And yes, I've tried like the broadcasts, and the engagement just isn't the same for me in the Challenge Tracker app, even though I wish it was, because I would love to use it all the time. But for me, that just doesn't work. So if you're using a Facebook group, and you can organize your group in the Challenge Tracker app too, by having like that pretty picture set up and all of that and using files. But for me, we organize ours to look like this. So if you have, like, make sure that you have a pretty cover photo. I think I actually have this. We know if we're doing point systems, so we have that. We create photo albums that have, like, this was for Angela Rocco and I and a couple of my other coaches, and just one of my Star Diamond coaches, we hosted an Ultimate Reset group together as a team, which was a huge way to build volume, by the way, is doing these things together. And she put this together. So having a nice cover photo, making sure that you set up albums so that you have people comment and post underneath of like certain days, but you still encourage them to post on the wall as well. But this helps have you ever been a part of a challenge group where the feed is just like going like this all the time and people's posts get buried? And it sucks as a coach when you have somebody who's like super proud because they posted something and it gets buried and you miss it and you skip over it. Well, this really helps to ensure that you don't miss that post, and you can make sure that you're giving that person the like props that they need. But you have to make sure that you're letting people know, hey, I really need you to post your accountability stuff underneath of this for that day. So having it organized just helps people feel like it's not quite as chaotic. Know if you're doing a point system. So now this is where the system of things start, is knowing when to post about things. So everybody's system is different. For me, I actually happen to do it exactly the same way as Alexis does, where the first week is there's nothing. There really isn't, like, I'm not promoting anything. It's where my new challenge groups start. It's where all of my stuff starts. And then my free group goes in the second week. And then my promotions for my upcoming month's challenge groups start 2 weeks before the first day of the first Monday of every month. So I'm pretty sure that's how you do it, right, Alexis? I think that's what you said. So on our call anyway. So I just personally think that works best for me. Most people for me anyway, doing it in the middle of the month doesn't work. People like to have that fresh, clean start at the beginning of the month. That's what my tribe, my following enjoys, but I promote it 2 weeks before the start date. I make sure that I do not just post it one time and hope that people see it, because really only 10% of your Facebook following is actually seeing what you post. So you have to make sure that you're posting it at different times on different platforms. You can use the exact same wording if you want, use a different picture, use the exact same picture, use different wordings, try different things. But I guarantee you, the more you post about that, you may feel like you're spamming people, but I promise you only half the people saw it. And if somebody else saw it twice, they probably just think, oh, somebody commented on it, so it bumped back up in my newsfeed. They get that. So don't worry about it. If you have a post that totally bombs, take it down. It is okay to take it down and repost it. So that's how I do that, is I know that if I'm starting a challenge group the first Monday of every month, then my very first promotion for that is usually going to go out on a Wednesday 2 weeks before. My people like Wednesdays and Sundays. Don't know why, but they just do Wednesdays, Sunday nights, and Monday mornings. Actually, like super early Monday mornings work for me too. Monday mornings really early on Instagram work for me. But promoting in different places. You can host a webinar, you guys. This is another cool idea. You can do it as a team where you can, Andrea Crowder's the queen of this if you need ideas for promotions, but she and a couple coaches on our team go live and they talk about a new product. They unveil a box. They, hype it up. They have PowerPoints where they share success stories. Maybe they have somebody that was in a challenge in a group on there. They share what is great about it, and they do a giveaway, and they encourage people to come and learn about it so that they can get people involved. And they usually do that like the last week before. It's like the last ditch effort to get people to get into your groups. So already, if you notice, like especially if you're doing a webinar, you're creating that atmosphere around like, this is fun. This is going to be exciting. So people are excited to do it. You can create an event page if you want. You can invite through there. You can run an ad. There's so many ways that you can post about it, but you have to get the word out there, and don't be afraid to that you're spamming people, because this is a business. And think about all the like ads that pop up in your newsfeed. How many times, at least for me, I buy Fabletics. So think about like a product that you buy on the regular, right? How many times do you see like an ad that's like a sponsored ad for that pops up on your Facebook page or on your sidebar or in your email inbox? Like you get blasted with it, but you happen to see something that hits you at the right time and you're like, ooh, I really like that. I could use one of those this month, and you get it. So it's okay to be in people's faces. That's how Brandy got me. She was in my face for 12 months. I even unfriended her at one point unfollowed, because I was like, dude, I said, no, I don't want to see this in my feed anymore. But if I'm being honest, I missed her positive peppy posts. And I was like, oh, I kind of miss seeing her stuff in my feed. So I refollowed her. So yeah, are you doing multi-program challenge groups? You just need to create like this hype around it that makes people have like that fear of missing out, like they're missing out on something. And follow up. So once you've been like asking all of these people to be a part of your group, I really hope that you guys are actually asking them and that you're not just hoping that they see your post and comment on it. It's about the messages, because I will tell you that for me, 90% of the people that say yes to me never commented on my post. And I put a post out there and I usually get crickets unless it's free. So it's usually the people that, what I do is if somebody liked my post, or if I notice that they've liked multiple of those posts that I've put out, maybe they liked it on both my Instagram and that, I'll send them a little message real quick and just say something like, hey girl, thanks so much for the love on my post. I'm not sure if you were just showing me love or if you were actually interested in the group. But either way, I'd love to catch up with you. I'd love to chat. Let me know if you were interested in doing this with me. And most of the time they come back and they're like, oh no, I was just showing you love. I just liked your post. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And then just start chatting with them. Hey, how's your son? How's your daughter? How's your family? Whatever. It's an invitation for you to just start talking to them. And then other times you're going to get people that were like, oh, it was kind of a little bit of both. And then it's like, oh, well, that's awesome. I'd love to talk to you about it. What excites you about the group? Like what interests you the most? Just start asking them questions, and then also incorporate in how's your son, how's your daughter, how's your this, so that it's not just all business, but it's an open invitation. Making sure that you are, if you feel like you're not getting a lot of likes, just start messaging people that you've been having comments with. If you have been following the system that I know Alexis teaches you guys, then it's not weird for you just to send a message to somebody and say, hey, I'm getting ready to do this group and we've been having such great conversations, or I really have been like vibing with you. I think it would be so much fun to do this together. Would you be interested in doing it? There's nothing wrong with asking somebody that. And if you've really built the relationship the proper way, then you don't feel weird asking them that question. The worst thing they're going to do is say no. So doing social media posts and doing Facebook messages. So that is like my system for getting people into my challenge groups, is making sure that the basics of it breakdown is making sure that it's promoting 2 weeks before. I've already built those relationships. I've promoted in more than one way on more than one platform. I don't do the webinars all the time, but I try to do them like maybe once or twice, especially for new product launches. I always do that. Create an event page. I don't do that anymore, just because for me that wasn't working. But I did them so much in the beginning that I think it became white noise. So for me, it changed. But in the beginning, it's definitely a good way for you to get that out there, because you can invite a ton of people that way. And then I do usually boost one of my posts for it. Then the next one is going to be actually this is like the meat of it, you guys. It's what you're doing in your challenge groups that's going to sell those people on making them want to become a coach and making them love this so much that they can't really say no to you. So it's the vibe that you have in your group. It's super important that before you even open your group, like before you always have to put like one person in. So usually choose like one of your friends, or I put my husband in there and, I go live and I create a welcome video. And it's really just saying like, hey, I'm so excited that you guys are here and here's what you can expect from me, and here's what is expected of you. Here's how you run this Facebook group. Because if you're just throwing people into a group and you're saying, hey, we're going to do this, but you're not telling them what to expect from you, and you're not telling them what you want them to do specifically, then they're not going to know. And you can't just assume. So you have to be very specific in telling them, give them really strict details about what it is that you want them to be doing in your challenge group. And some people may, especially if you're an Instagram person and they're coming over to Facebook, they may not be super familiar with the Facebook groups and stuff and exactly how those work in the way that you think they are. So that's really important. And it's really, if you're scared of live, get over it. Like, start doing it now, because it's really an awesome way for people to get to know you, like for real. And if you're in a group, these are all people that you built them. It's a great way for you to start getting comfortable with it, because it's not like your whole following is seeing it. But it's definitely important for them. People are going to connect with you a whole lot more when you're talking to them like this, face to face, because they're going to get to see your like the real you. They're going to get to see the good, the bad, the ugly. You don't have to worry about, for me, I don't get all dolled up. I usually am always going to have my hair tied up on my head with no makeup on, and I'm a hot, sweaty mess almost all the time, like not showered. But you know why? It's because I want these people to feel like they can do what I'm doing, that they don't have to get dolled up, that they don't have to put makeup on, that they can run this business in between their crazy life as a mom, trying to run kids from place to place, that it's like, they put this off for doing it so long because they don't have their face on, like that's just my niche. That's my group. If you haven't read The Life-Changing Magic of Not Giving a Fuck, I highly recommend it. It's awesome. And it will help you get over some of those things. And like the stuff that holds you back from like not posting certain things, or that holds you back from saying no to certain things, or being a yes person. I thought it was great anyway, but if you have an issue with language, then it might not be your thing. But anyway, you want to make, here's like an example of what I do. And you can see, like, I'm not all dolled up there. Like, I literally probably finished my workout, didn't shower, ran, took something to my kid, came home, made a video real quick, and then went about my day. So, since I always send a congratulations email to my challengers as soon as they buy a challenge pack, or as soon as they agree to my group. So now that my group is all set up, it's ready to go. I've promoted it. People are ready to say yes. They're saying yes to me. They buy it. I see it in my back office. I always have them forward me their confirmation email, because if there's issues with their order, I now have their address, I have their shipping date, all of that information. So I don't have to bug them for it if there's a problem, and I can try and handle things for them. Or if you run across it where you're like, hey, I ordered this, but it's not showing up in your back office, you can take care of it yourself without even having to bother your customer. So that is what I send to them in my email when I'm giving them the instructions of how to purchase a challenge pack. I literally give them step by step. Click here, then add to cart, then do this. Some people really just need to see that. And then at the end it says, and when you've finished and you've completed your order, Beachbody will send you an email. Please forward me that email to laurenmajewskifitness@gmail.com, blah, 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 blah. Here's why. And then I'm excited to have you in my challenge group. You can expect to get an email from me as soon as I see that confirmation order go through. And then you can expect this. So I'm letting them know what's going on. In this congratulations email, it's not like a list of to-dos or anything like that. It's literally just like, hey girl, I am so excited that you decided to do this with me. Like, super pumped. I see that your order is going through. I'm going to get you added to this group and we'll get you going. I'll send you like a getting started email quickly. So the getting started email and the congrats emails are two separate things. Now I add them into the group. Now they can watch my video, and I usually have something in there that asks them to introduce themselves, because the first thing that you're going to do when you walk into a room is you're going to either be that person that sits back and is a fly on the wall, or you're going to step out and you're going to introduce yourself. But I encourage them to introduce themselves, and I actually tell them what I want them to introduce themselves with. So I give them a guide of what they should be pinning and, things that they can post to the group, because that's another thing, is that sometimes they feel like, well, aside from my sweaty selfie, which some people might not be comfortable posting yet, they don't really know what to share. So I give them this little like document that has examples of what to post from day 1 to day 21 in my challenge groups. Mine are almost always 21 days. I never go past 21. 30 is my absolute max, because people usually fizzle out by like 14, 15, day 14, 15. So this gives them examples of what to post. Then I send them the Getting Started Right email, and this is this. And I love Google Drive. If you don't use Google Drive, you should definitely get yourself a Gmail and start using it. But this is my guide to getting started. And literally, you guys, all this is the first week of the challenge group templates that are in your back office. And it's literally just breaking it down for them. And I have the outline on the side. So, if somebody in the welcome email, in the welcome video also, I remind them that they're going to have fees and things like that. And I say, please check your Getting Started Right email for any of those questions that you might have about the recurring fees, when you're going to be charged next, when you're going to, the meal plan that I told you, it's in that email. So please check your email, check your spam, and make sure that you got it. But so in here, this is literally like, if you look at those, if you didn't know that Beachbody has challenge group templates for you, it's in your back office underneath challenge group tools. So, but they have templates, and it's literally, I have a meal plan for them that my team created. And then we have a pantry detox, which basically just teaches them how to get all of the junk out of their pantry. It just tells them how to access their program immediately on Beachbody On Demand within 24 hours. They usually don't get this email until 24 hours. So it's like, hey, if you're ready to jump on and get started right now, this usually is sent out on Wednesdays for the most part. And the groups usually start on Monday, but they have that whole weekend to go through their pantry, to do the meal prep. I have a meal prep 101 that's attached to this. And these are all just documents that I have linked up in my Google Drive. Now, please don't feel like you have to go out and you have to create this like overnight, and that you have to have this like amazing system before you can run your next challenge group. You don't, but feel free to use the challenge group template that is in your back office. And literally my first week of PrePosts are all this exact same stuff. I just take it out day by day. There's like 7 different topics in here, and I actually post what's in here to the wall of my challenge group. And that's it. Because some people aren't going to take the time to read this. So now I know you're getting it one way or the other. But some people, like I know for me, I don't like having to wait for spinning wheels. If I have to wait too long for a spinning wheel, I'm out. So I want all of it right away. And because I attract people that are like me, they want that too. So they want to dive in. They want to read their books. They want to read this. They want to know how they can get started right now while they're sitting there waiting for their product to show up, because we all know it takes a little while with us. So it's giving them something to do. And it is teaching them about like steps to keep them motivated, group expectations, and then getting ready and blah, 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 blah. So that is something that you can do, is just create something that works for you that you can send to your customers. The next thing is doing your pre-posts for your group and understanding like what it is that your customers need. How are you going to make them become that community, right? If you were to ask most of the people on your team, what is it that you guys crave? Do you crave like the community of each other? Do you crave feeling like you're a part of something? I know that's what my team does. And it's because it all starts with this. We want to go hang out with each other for 5 days in the mountains. We want to get on calls like we had today that are only supposed to be 30 minutes and end up staying on there for 2 hours, because we're just shooting the breeze and, enjoying each other's company and talking about business. We want to be a part of those things. So you need to help people find their people in your group. And that goes with asking people these questions like, what program are you following? If you're doing a multi-program challenge, ask them questions about their family. Where do they live? Why are they doing this challenge? What do you do for a living? What do you enjoy for fun? What's your favorite color? Like, I ask them dumb questions, you guys, but people are like, oh, I love purple too. It's fun. It makes it more than just like, go prep your food and go do this, but you have to be teaching them those things too. Teach them about Beachbody On Demand, because most people don't understand how it works yet. It seems so simple to us, but it may not to them. So help them understand how they can access their program and what's involved. I even like to go live and walk them through it and just be like, this is how it works, you guys. And here's how you can access other stuff, and show them about the nutrition guide and the Fixate TV show and all of that. The nutrition guide, meal plan, simple guidelines. So I actually go live in my challenge groups, and I go through the nutrition guide and the meal plan and all of that with them, because it helps them understand it a little bit more, and they can ask me questions right there. And then if they weren't able to get on live, then it's there and they can still ask me questions later. Food shopping. So I may look like the crazy girl with my phone in the grocery store, but I'll go shopping in the grocery store and show them like how to stay towards the outsides, why you don't go to the middle, how to read an ingredient label instead of a nutrition label, and just little things like that. And they're getting to see me, and it makes them feel more comfortable being engaged, because it's not just like a scheduled post that I threw up on my wall. And it's totally okay for you to schedule your entire challenge group, but I really encourage you to add additional content on there, because it is really important for people to get to know you and not just the template that you ripped from Beachbody in the back office. Schedule all of those out. By all means, do it. And then that way, if you miss and something happens and life gets in the way and you can't post something, at least your people are still getting content. But try and do something that has you show up as you all the time. Pre-prep, and we just do like fun things where it's like, hey, let's go live and we're going to do Sunday meal prep together. Getting people to really be engaged with you and asking questions, see how you meal prep your food. If you're a meal prepper, maybe you're not, but it's what works with you. This is a big one. So I ask people what their fears are, and I ask them right on the wall. Like, so, what are your fears? What are you afraid of about doing this? Like, are you afraid you're not going to finish? What's held you back before? Have you ever started a program before and not finished it? Why didn't you finish it? What got in the way? And how can we help you make sure that that doesn't happen again? And a lot of people will say, I need you to text me like every day. I'm like, well, that might not happen. But how about if I notice that you didn't check in like for 2 days in a row on a Wednesday, then I'm going to reach out to you and we'll just have like little check-ins that way. Or I'll tell them, you can check in with me. Just text me your sweaty selfie every day if you don't feel like posting it to the group yet, just for accountability. If I don't get it, then I'll reach out to you on Wednesday. Goodbye photos and progress pictures. A lot of times people don't feel comfortable posting those to the wall. So I just always encourage people that it's okay that they don't, but they need to take them for themselves and send them to me. And going live. I think I've said it a million times. Go live. If you're scared of it, get over it. Just do it. Practice on your team page. Just go live. Okay, so engagement, and we've kind of already talked about this stuff, but it's just, these are some ideas for you guys of things you can do in your team page. If you're doing Team Spirit right now, I think, let me see, I'll remind me later, Alexis, and I'll show you like the photo thing that we're doing for Team Spirit that I have my team posting about. It's giving them ideas of just stuff to post for the month that's not all Beachbody, but you want them to feel like excited. People like to give their opinions, and you want people to want to share. So ask them to share their favorite outfit. It doesn't have to be a workout outfit. Ask them to share their favorite websites, their favorite resources for certain things. I'm doing a crockpot group right now where I don't feel like I have to provide all the recipes for that, but I can certainly go and Google some crockpot websites that have like hundreds of them and say, y'all, this was an amazing website. Here it is. Go check it out. Use some of these resources. What are some of your favorite resources? You know that those people are going to sit there and go Pinterest what their stuff is, and they'll probably send it to you. At least my people do, because they're stay-at-home moms. But, what's your favorite playlist? What's your favorite song? Recipe shares, favorite quotes. Do a book together. Read a book. If you know that people in the mindset is huge, if you can find people that want to grow, if you can help people in your challenge groups learn how to grow and be excited about reading a book, and make it short and sweet, like not some big novel, but like Girl Code, or what's the one I just read that was freaking awesome? Oh, I just deleted it. It's like the life-changing magic of not giving a fuck. That one's awesome. Like, do that one because it's really short. It's a simple read. Some of my people would love to read The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up because it helps them figure out how to organize and not feel like they're cleaning every single day of their life. as a mom. Just little things that are going to help them in their everyday life, in their everyday group. Do like Chalene Johnson's 30-day push groups together. Things that are going to help them grow. Because if you find that person that is willing to help themselves grow in your challenge group, guaranteed they're going to make an excellent coach. And you will know that because they're showing up and they're talking about these things with you, and you can be like, oh my gosh, and just encourage them and drop little like hints that they are doing a good job, that they're kind of being a coach, especially if people are engaging with other people. I'll shoot them a little message and be like, hey, thank you so much for just sharing that with Sally, because I know that she's really been struggling and like a little bit shy from engaging in the group. So you posting that to her really gave her a huge confidence boost. Awesome. Thank you. Give people shout outs for that stuff. Shout them out for flipping everything. And don't be afraid to let people know like that you're like human. You don't have to be like, it's okay. This post that I put up here is like me trying really, really hard not to go eat all the cookies in the cabinet. And I was like, I'm really struggling. What do you do to combat like the junk food cravings? For me, it was drinking a cup of tea. So I shared with them that I wanted to go plow through an entire bag full of Oreo cookies, but that I wasn't going to, because here's what has helped me. And then I asked them at the end, what's helped you with that? So they're willing to engage and they're willing to share their ideas and their tips, whether they're good ones or not. Like, just let them share and, let them be a part of it. You can also use this on your public page, because asking questions is a huge way to increase your engagement. You should be trying to ask a question almost every single day. And it can literally be about everything. Having people create things that they are excited to share. So for me, my niche is stay-at-home moms. And so they love the heck out of Pinterest. And so they like to make Pinterest boards. And I have them make Pinterest boards with clean recipes, or like maybe we'll do like, around the holidays, we'll do like cookie shares, Pinterest boards, or we can even do like, I've got a lot of winos or champagne people. And so we'll create like fun holiday drinks and we'll do Pinterest boards for that. But I always encourage them, why don't you go pin a ton of recipes for like 21-day fix and then share your Pinterest board with us so that we can get ideas too. So anything that you can do to increase the engagement is awesome. And being real and being a friend and just kind of like sharing how you're not, unless you really are a personal trainer and that's like the basis of your business, then just be the person that you are, the person that maybe misses a workout, the person that maybe eats junk food, the person that maybe drinks wine, like just be you. Make it fun and not 100% about fitness, and ask questions. So this little thingy got messed up. It went backwards. So did this one. And these are just some other ideas, like participate yourself as a challenger. So I did Beachbody On Demand workouts one day, and I saw on the Challenge du Jour that you could do the 20s workouts when they had that show going. I didn't even know that you could do that. So I popped in live and did like the last 5 minutes. And I said in the video, like, hey guys, I just realized that I could do these workouts. And I totally dogged on this trainer, didn't think that it was going to be good, but it's totally kicking my butt. Here's the last 5 minutes of it. You should totally check it out today if you can. Here's how you can find it. Here's a sneak peek of the workout. Go do it. People watched it. They did it. It also encourages people to try Beachbody On Demand. I went live and just shared something that was one of my favorite things. This magazine down here, Clean Eating Magazine, was one of the very first things that taught me how to eat clean before I ever even knew what Beachbody coaching was. So now I have a subscription. I shared it with my group. They all got excited. I literally flipped through the magazine with them, and then they all went out and subscribed to it or found it at the store. So you're providing like tips and tools that worked for you and that offers things that they may not know about, like the 20s. Give them tally sheets, give them Beachbody blog. Especially a lot of people feel like when you have Beachbody On Demand, they forget that they have access to the meal planning tools in the Eat Smart section, like all of that stuff. So teach them about that kind of thing. Facebook pages, really just think about it this way. Like if you weren't a Beachbody coach, you weren't trying to convince these people to do anything, and you were literally just out there joining some group on Facebook, what would you be excited to see on that wall that you are a part of? Like whatever it is that you're excited about, like what would you want to get out of it? You would probably want that to be a place like that you were going to go when, for instance, this crock pot thing. I
joined a bunch of crockpot groups, or not groups, but like I found a bunch of pages on Facebook that were crockpot things. Now that's my resource where I was like, oh, what should I make tonight? I go to that and that's what you want your challenge groups to be, as well as your page, a resource for people, but also a place where they feel safe and they feel like cool to throw up their opinions and their ideas. And comment on their posts, you guys. Like in your groups, you really want, like, I see this all the time. People get the challenge pack sale. They throw somebody in a group. They let people just post their stuff on the wall, and all they do is like it. And then they wonder why the engagement in their group dies off. It's literally supposed to be a fun place. It's supposed to be a cheerleading place. Imagine how you feel. And maybe you've had this happen where you mustered up the courage to post something on your page and you hear crickets. Nobody says anything and all you see is likes. Nobody gives a flip about those likes. They want to see the comments. When you drop a heart or somebody drops an emoji on you, or they say, yeah, girl, how much better does it feel than a like? So when you're going through, and I know it takes time, but you did promise people that you were going to be a cheerleader. You did promise people that you were going to motivate them and encourage them and inspire them to stick with the tools that you gave them. So even if you copy and paste a freaking heart underneath of everybody's thing, like, I do this on my pages too, is that I make sure that I comment on absolutely every single comment that is made, whether it is an emoji, and I will like just change the words, like, hey, excited to do this for you. Or, thanks, girl. Thanks so much. Thanks for the love. Just add something and encourage those people. Make them feel proud of the fact that they posted, because if they're actually getting engagement on what they're posting, they're more likely to continue to post. And that's how you're going to find out who your coaches are going to be. So read a book together, offer prizes, do giveaways. We kind of already talked about this stuff, and I can go through fast on this. Do mini challenges. And when I say mini challenges, do fun ones, you guys. Like, make it fun. So we did for the Halloween, we did a pumpkin challenge where it was literally like I was encouraging these people to go create some balance in their life. Maybe they're busy, but I was asking them to take a time out, go spend time with your family, and carve pumpkins or paint them or do something, but then post your pictures below and we'll throw it up there and we'll let people vote on it, basically. So for me, I know that that's something that I need to help people with. It's not just their fitness, it's helping them create that life balance so that they can be happy and they can not feel like they're just a taxi driver and like mom. And so by encouraging them to find ways to create that balance in their life that includes their health is huge. So I try to do things in my groups that encourage that. And this was just one example of it. The no junk food challenge. This one was fun. And the way I presented it to them, I was like, this thing says for 10 days, but we ain't going to do 10 days. We're just going to do the weekend. Okay. So can y'all do like the weekend of no sugar with me? Here's what that means. Let's do this. And people were excited about that. They wanted to do it with me and together. I try to keep my challenge groups kind of like intimate too. So mine aren't really, really huge. Give shout outs, give them freaking shout outs for everything. Like if somebody had the courage to post their transformation picture out there, you shout their butts out and just be like, you know what? I've got to give it up for this girl because she was doing this. If somebody is really encouraging people in your groups, let them know. If somebody is like basically running your group for you, tell them. This is what I like to say. I'm like, hey girl, I just want to say thank you so much for being my co-pilot in this group. You're basically like my assistant coach right now. You've been doing amazing and you've really helped me out so much. I just wanted to say thank you. I didn't ask her to be a coach. I didn't do anything. I just dropped the hint that she's already doing it. And be their coach. Now, I'm telling you to have fun. I'm telling you to support people. But if somebody's not showing up in your group, if somebody is like posting stuff on your wall that does not fit in like the meal plan and all they're ever doing is talking about how they shove cookies down their face or donuts, because I'm a donut person, you've got to step in at some point and be their coach. You did promise them that you were going to be their coach, and that includes giving them tough love sometimes. If somebody says, hey, this just isn't working for me, like here's an example. I had a girl come to me. She tried to do the reset. She fell off after like 3 days. Then she tried to do another program. It wasn't working. And this whole time I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. Well, then she tried to do 21-day fix and she fell off of that again. And then she sent me a message when I checked in with her just to ask her how she was doing. And she was like, well, just really not seeing the results that I thought I would be seeing by now. I'm not seeing like the numbers on the scale go down. And I was like, well, how long have you been following it? And she was like, I don't know, like, I think I'm on day 7. And I was like, dude, really? Like, this will work for you. It's just that you have to allow it to work for you, and you've got to ditch the scale. You've got to get rid of it because you're allowing that number to defeat you. And, you know, are you really following the meal plan? Like, I really started digging into her at this point. Like, you asked me to be your coach. I'm going to be your coach right now. I love you. I want to see you succeed. And so we got to work this out. We have to figure out what's not going on, because I'm not going to let you buy another program when I know that this will work for you. The ones you have will work. Let's figure out why the ones you have are not working. Of course, I would love for her to buy another program, but I don't want program whores that just collect dust on the shelf. I want people to use our stuff and have it work, because I know it works. So I had to find out, is it just that you don't like autumn? Is it just that you couldn't do the food? What is it that's not working? It turns out she was just really struggling with the food portion of it. So we just had to fix that a little bit and get her re-motivated and re-excited. And now she's doing it, and she's doing great. So you have to step up and be their coach. Because when they become coaches of yours, you're going to have to do the same thing. You're going to have to step in when everybody's going to do it. Almost always, you're going to get a new coach within the first 30 days. It's like, I can't do this. This isn't what I signed up for. I did it, you know, and you have to step in, be their coach, slow them down and say, okay, what is it that's not working? Why do you feel overwhelmed? Same thing. So let them know that they can trust you and that you're not going to let them give up on themselves. So I like to give little fun tips and stuff too. And just things to let them know, like, hey, you can do this. All right. So to wrap it up, this comes up with like, this is how I transition people out. So what I do now, they've had this amazing experience. They trust me. They've gotten to know me. They either pieced out because it wasn't for them, or they are in love with this and they're ready to go. So I always post a wrap up video letting them know, like, hey, I'm so excited. I'm so proud of you guys that are still here. Just letting them know, like, this is what's next. You have to let them know like where to go from here, because you don't want to just be like, challenge group's over, and then there's silence, there's nothing, right? So you've got to let them know what's next. This is why that pre-planning comes into play. So if you were doing your pre-planning 2 weeks in advance, by the time your challenge group is ending, you've already promoted your second one. You've already promoted the one that's coming up next. You know what's coming, and you can tell them, my next challenge group is going to be starting on this day. This is what we're going to be doing. This is what our focus of that group is going to be. I would love to have you as a part of it if you would like to be in it. Maybe you're somebody that moves your people from your challenge tracker app into like a main accountability group. Let them know that that's what you're going to be doing, and that you are going to be adding them to that group, and that this is what's expected there of people in that group. So you got to let them know what's expected. Always give them a congratulations. Always message every single person that was a part of your group. If they dropped off, you need to make sure that you're messaging them, whether they respond or not, just to find out why they dropped off, what's going on. Or maybe this month was just bad timing. Maybe they want to try again in your next group. You got to ask those questions. Ask for results photos, because again, the point of this is to build your results portfolio and to help people get results. Ask them to give them to you, because most of the time, unless you are like really asking them over and over and over again, they're not going to do it. So I just posted a thing in my group. I always ask people in a personal message too. I posted in my group, but I ask for results that aren't just pictures, because maybe they didn't feel like they really have that physical transformation yet. And maybe they really didn't even lose any weight, but they feel amazing. They have more energy. They have like more excitement for life. You want to know those transformations as well. So I asked them questions. What changes did you make that you're proud of? That's a transformation. So just ask people those questions to help yourself build that portfolio. And also those people that are answering those questions for you, it gives you an idea of where they are and if they are ready to become a coach. So information about upcoming groups, how they can stay connected with you. Like maybe they don't want to do something, but how can they still like be a part of what you have to offer? That once you are my customer, you are never not my customer. You are always welcome in everything and anything that I do. Even if it's free groups. If you've bought something from me, you can be you can be in my free groups 1,000,000 times over until you switch to another coach, which hopefully that never happens. But if it did, then no, you get the boot. Sorry, go ask the coach that you switched to. ask what the next step is. So this is one of my favorite things. And this is, you need to give them 3 options. So I usually make this post, and it's also in the message that I send to them. It's like, okay, what type of challenger are you? Like, how did you feel about this experience? Are you challenger A? Challenger A is the person that, you loved this challenge group. You got amazing results. People at your job are noticing. You've got so much energy. You feel so great. You just want to shout this from the rooftops. You've already been telling everybody about it, and you want a discount on top of it. That's challenger A. Are you challenger B, where this is really great. I would love to keep doing it. I have really no desire to sell the product, but I would really love a discount. That's challenger B. Challenger C is, this was amazing. This was awesome. This was the perfect jumpstart that I needed. Or no, this just wasn't for me. I think I'm going to go do my own thing. Ask them, what kind of challenger were you? You can ask this. Most people aren't really going to post this on, unless they're really excited, they're not going to answer if they were challenger C on the post that you make, but they might answer you in the group. Send personal messages to those people that you think were the ones that were showing up every day. They were, send them that co-pilot message. Just really, by now, like those people that you want to move to your next group, because they are just like, I have a girl that she doesn't want to be a coach, but I literally ask her every month, and I've asked her like every time she's a part of my group for almost 2.5 years now. But she refers people to me like nobody's business, and she is freaking hilarious and makes my groups fun. So I want her in there because she makes it a good experience for other people. So I send her messages like, "Hey girl, this was an amazing group this time. Do you happen to know of anybody who might benefit from doing a group like this?" If they say yes, this is your perfect opportunity to say, well, you know what? You could sell them this program. You could ask them about it, and you could make a little bit of money. Have you ever considered becoming a coach yourself? They might say no. Okay, great. I'd be happy to take that person for you. But you can, now you're opening yourself up to all these questions. So it's really all about the personal messages and the stuff that goes on behind the scenes that you don't see from other people. And it's the content and what you're asking. And this one is my favorite, announce the winner in the group on your page. I always ask permission before I ever post anything about any of my challengers on a public page, ever. So especially if it's transformation pictures, they may feel a little weird about it. And I've had people say, go for it, girl, but make sure you cut out my head or you blur my face, and definitely don't tag me. I've had that happen, but it's awesome that they want to share. So ask for referrals, definitely do that. I always ask people for referrals. I give people points if I'm doing points for giving referrals, but I have a coach now who, she has been a coach for about a year, but she was literally one of my very first challengers in one of the very first challenge groups that I ever did. She was anti-coaching, but literally, not kidding you, would send me maybe 3-4 customers a month and would not be a coach. But I asked her every single month, hey girl, do you have anybody else in mind that you might want to have come? And she was like, yeah, sure. Are you sure you don't want to be a coach? Nope, don't. You can go ahead and do it. All right, awesome. You can be making this money, right? But you can give them referral fees too. You can offer referral fees. Just make sure you check the policies and procedures on that. You can only do a certain amount. Prizes, make sure you know your P&Ps. You can only do up to $50, and it has to be gift cards. And you cannot offer money for recruiting coaches, so don't do that. Share success stories with the group and on social media. So I always try to share success stories of other coaches that are in there and ones that aren't just transformations. But and this one's my favorite, is send a survey. Again, if you don't have Google Drive, get it and use this, because I send this out after every single one of my challenge groups. And it's literally just, the only question that is required in here is, what challenge group did you participate in? And would you recommend this group to someone else? Yes or no? Those are the only 2 questions that I require. And then everything else that's in there is just what did you love about this challenge group? Did you see results? Do you have any suggestions? How could we make this group better in the future? I'm just asking people for their feedback. They don't have to put their names in. Some people do, some people don't. But it's a great way for you to build the experience better for the next person. You have to have tough skin, because sometimes people it's just not their thing, but that's okay. But it's a really great way to get feedback. And if people are like, yes, I love this, I would definitely recommend people. I love this about that. I love that about that. Ding, 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 coach. Like, you know, so now you have another way to message that person. Hey girl, I got your feedback for this survey and I noticed that you absolutely loved X, Y, and Z. I don't know. Have you ever considered becoming a coach yourself? Because I really think that if you and I were to run a group like this together next month and you could invite some people to it, you could probably make a little extra money. They would love that, right? So I definitely recommend, and I always do surveys. I do surveys for challenge groups. I do surveys for training groups. I do surveys for freaking everything because it's just a great way. So then basically once I get those people, I find my coaches. This is how I found coaches, you guys. I have converted those people over. There's like, I told Alexis, I didn't know if she really wanted me to go into the process of actually that's how I convert people though, is just finding the people that love my group experience and in just getting their feedback and asking the questions. And once they say yes, it's literally from there, I just walk them through the sign up process of becoming a coach because they've already said, yes, I want to do it. They already know that I don't need to ask those questions. What program would work for you? All of that. I already know. So it makes them becoming coaches so much easier than getting coaches that have no experience with programs and products at all. And I'll be honest, I have really low recruitment numbers, but yet I've still been able to have crazy success in this business. Like literally, I'm not joking. I have less than 40 personally sponsored coaches in my downline, but I'm an executive leader and I have a crazy amount of success and, you know, I've been elite 3 times, but it's because the coaches that I bring in are quality over quantity. And those people that come in just love this business and they have a passion for what they're doing and they are going to be doing it whether they make money or not. And that's why they stick around. So, that's my system. That's how it works. When they come in as new coaches, I don't overwhelm them with a crap ton of information. I can get rid of this now, I think. How do I stop my screen share? Stop share. I don't overwhelm them with a ton of information. I literally just send them an email that says, welcome to the team. Here's what you can expect. It's kind of like a challenge group. Here's what you can expect. Here's what's expected of you. I add them to our team page and it's literally, I don't do coach basics. Did I just say that out loud? I don't, because my coaches don't like it. They always fail when they do it. And I wasn't trained with a coach basics. And all of my coaches that are still around that are Star Diamond coaches were not trained with a coach basics. I trained them how to love themselves, how to be entrepreneurs, and how to motivate themselves. And that starts with saying, here's what you need to know. Here's what you need to do. And here's where you're going to start. And it literally starts with, here's where you're going to create a statement for yourself, for your business, and for your personal life. You're going to figure out your brand and who you're going to be. You're going to figure out how you're going to run this business, and then you're going to start a challenge group. That's it. And it's literally just, do you know, like Brandy, for example, when I started this business, Brandy was like, so, yeah, you just need to run a challenge group and hit Success Club every month. And I was like, what is Success Club? She was like, oh, well, it's basically, you just have to sell like this many points. Okay. What is a challenge group? She's like, oh, well, here's this video that you can watch on how to do it. And you can just join mine and you can just copy and paste everything out of there if you want to, but you'll figure it out. Like literally that's how it was. There was none of this. And I was like, okay. And, you know, I was very overwhelmed because I was listening to all these different calls. So now, instead of doing that, I actually like give them, okay, read this, watch this. And there's literally 4 or 5 steps before they start off as a new coach. And it's self-paced and they can do it on their own. And there's no like pressure of, you have to become an emerald. You have to hit Success Club. And I never sign up coaches on the first, just PS, because if you sign up coaches on the first, that first month actually counts for them. If you sign them up on the second, it does not, because they didn't have a full 30 days. Because Success Starters is your first full 30 days in the business. So if you didn't know that, that's just a little, you give your coaches an additional like extra month to learn and really focus on themselves and learn their journey and how this business works before they really take off and they hit Success Club. Because I feel like that's how I was. I was so afraid to sell anything in this business or to even put myself out there yet because I didn't feel like I knew anything. I didn't have a relationship with like the product, so to say. I had insanity and everybody knew that. But does that make sense? Like, you really want your new coaches to really just, and it goes back to the vital process that they're talking about. You want your coaches, especially if you're bringing in ones that don't have a relationship with the product, you want them to have 30 days to be able to take their time to learn what they're doing, to know what they need to know. Don't shove information about do this, do this, do this, do this down their throat, because they're going to quit, because they're going to get overwhelmed. And it's literally just, please show up and do your workout every day. Learn one thing about your business every day. There's literally 4 steps. You know, the first step is, please read this little short document that will take you 20 minutes about what you need to know. And in the document, it says, this is Success Club. This is Success Starters. This is how you rank advance. This is what you need to do to be successful in this business. Do this every month, you win. Like, that's it. And it's so simple, right? It's pinned at the top of my page, and we start coaches there. We tag them and say, go. And that it doesn't work for everybody, but it works for my people, because when they have too much coming at them at once, they're done, because they're like me. It's like that spinny wheel that goes, you see it and you give up. So that's my process. That's how it works for me. And for most of my team, that's what we do. And I didn't even see, because I have screen shared this, like, if you guys have questions, I'm happy to answer. But I didn't see this whole section going over here.
Yeah, so that was awesome. I'm pretty sure I took like 17 pages of notes. And I loved it because there was a lot of stuff that you do that we do as like a whole downline that's similar but different, and I think that they'll really work well together. The thing about like the Coach Basics, we used to run Coach Basics with like it's 21 days and it was day 1 and you had to do it and it was all this stuff, and now we kind of run it. We have a Coach Basics, but it's like run through a different system. It's self-paced and all of that stuff. So I think that definitely works better. I know, I wrote down like 10 questions. I don't want to ask them all, but if anybody has any questions, just either unmute yourself or comment. I do have one question, but you can post in the chat box. So feel free to ask questions. But my question is, because I always ask this to coaches, because I know that it's different for everybody. I don't ever have repeat customers in my group, and not because I won't let them, but because most of the time they either don't want to continue with Shakeology or they join as a coach. So what I'm curious is, when you say you have people who are repeat customers and they are not coaches, are they repeatedly buying Shakeology at the customer price and they're just like okay with that?
Yes, and my coaches are in my group, because first and foremost, my customers are my coaches. My coaches. Okay,
I have that too, so that's why I was asking, because I wasn't exactly sure.
Even though they're coaches, it's my job to make sure that they continue their journey.
Mm-hmm.
So like they stay in my groups, and I encourage that, like, because sometimes I want to know what they're doing, and I see it all too often where people that become coaches jump out of my group and they're ready to start their own. And yes, you want that. You want them to go. And I tell them, don't feel like you have to post in my group all of the time, but I want you to know that you have a safe place that's not around all of your customers. If you don't feel comfortable posting something in there, you are always a part of my group. Now, I have like that one big accountability group that's always running, that's always open. And I actually run every single one of my challenge groups out of that group. So I always have like my core 10 people, and they know that. And I'm just very honest. You have the option to leave this group at any time. You may see repeat information. And what I say in that welcome video to my new coaches is, hey guys, or I mean to my new customers and to the veteran coaches that are in there, I say, hey guys, we've got a great new group of 10 people that are coming in this month. They are so excited to start their journey. Some are doing 21-day fix, some are doing core to force, some are doing this. If you are one of these people who has done one of these programs, please feel free to help them. If you found something that really helped you along your way, please feel free to chime in. You're probably going to see repeat information, but it's great for us to have a refresher. Don't be afraid to post things that help you. And I find, if I'm being honest, most of the challenge packs or like things that are sold is that because that's a group that has multiple people doing things. Like an example is I had a girl who did a full round of 22-minute hardcore. She rocked that program. She was going live because I was asking them, like I would challenge them. I'd be like, I challenge you to go live for 5 minutes of your workout today through the hardest part, because I know that that's going to make you work harder because we're watching you, And so she would go live. She rocked it out. And people were watching her, and I had 3 people, customers, buy that program next because they were like, I want to do that. Like, I want to do what she did.
And then maybe they were stagnant in their other program that they were doing. So I talked to one of my girls today who she was like, I didn't tell you, but I brought 22 because I saw Hannah totally crushing it and I lost 10 pounds. She hasn't lost weight in over a year and she's actually been really struggling. And she was like, 22 just really helped me figure out the food part. So, you know, when I was a new coach, I only ran one challenge group because I was totally overwhelmed by all these groups that I was a part of and I couldn't keep up because I had a newborn baby and a 4-year-old. And it was like literally, she was 2 months old when I started. And it was, and we were homeless because our house caught on fire. And it was just like, I couldn't do it. So I kept everybody in that one group and I did the ultimate reset and people did it. And then all of a sudden they were like, what is that she just did? I want to do it. Oh, that looks hard. Maybe I don't want to do that. And then somebody would ask a question and I would say, hey, Kristen, you just finished this, right? Why don't you let her know how you feel about this? You know? And so she would answer it. And guess what? Kristen became a coach a year later because she was answering all these questions for people in my group. And she was like, hey, I could probably do this. And she did amazing. And she rocked Success Club too. So there's just so many different, that's just me. It doesn't work for everybody, but that's what worked for me.
Yeah. That's something I want to try again because it's so weird because like me and Meg always talk about this with the different demographics. Like she's a little bit older, she has a stay-at-home mom demographic with which you guys are like feel like so much more like on Facebook, and like my demographic is a little bit younger. They're not always on Facebook, so I had an ongoing group going on, but there was just like no like interaction at all. But I ran it a while ago. I feel like if I redid it, and now that the live feature is there, I feel like it could increase the engagement so much because I'm a live freak too. I love going live. So but does anybody have any questions? I don't want to keep blabbing on. If you have a question, go ahead. And
telling people in the wall, I'm like, if
I have a question.
In the challenge tracker app, I would use it.
Oh, I know. Well, Beachbody, I'm sure they'll be on top of it eventually. Danielle has a question.
So in your video, you said that you go live a lot. So I'm guessing you run all of your challenge groups on Facebook. And I know there's not a live feature on the tracker app. I love going live too, and I think I'd really love it in a group. But then again, like the challenge tracker app makes it so convenient to like keep track of your challengers. So is there any recommendation you have as to, is there a way to kind of like mesh the two?
So, well, if you want to use the challenge tracker app, you can. It's just, in my opinion, I just am so busy, crazy. I don't have the time to do this. But what I do know is that a way to go live in the challenge tracker app is to create a live event on YouTube and post the link for it in the challenge tracker app, because then everybody will click that and see the live event happening on YouTube on their phone. So you won't, and if they click the chat option for the live video, then they can chat with you live on like a live video that way. But for me, that's an extra step, and I'm lazy, I guess. And I just like to go in and press go live and I'm done. Like I don't have time to sit there because my kids are like, mom, like ripping on me. And I'm like, okay, I just need to do this real quick. Okay, ready and go. And like, that's it. But I know too, when we did the health bet, I would just create the videos on YouTube, like you saw. Like, so I think the thing that I showed you, one of the live videos that was in my challenge tracker app, and then the other one was on Facebook. You can create a YouTube video or create a video on your phone and just upload it directly to YouTube, and then post the YouTube link in your challenge tracker app, and it'll show up as a video on their live feed. The only difference is they just can't interact with you as you're going, but at least it's a live video and it's you. And then you also have those videos later if you want to use them in another challenge group. They're saved on your YouTube. But I always do mine generally specific to each challenge group that I'm doing. So that's the only reason I don't do that. And you guys can rip live videos off of YouTube too. I don't know if you know that. But
if you're doing it, can like other people see it, or is it just the people you post the link to?
If you make it in YouTube unlisted, only the people in your group that have the link can see it.
Okay.
So when you go into your phone, if you have an iPhone, if you go in and it'll pop up, it'll say like, you have to scroll down a little bit. I usually do people and pages, and then I just change it to unlisted.
Okay.
Right, like from public to unlisted.
That's awesome. I'm like so excited because I'm like, me and Meg talked about this, and I'm like, I just love the challenge tracker app so much, but you talking about like the go grocery shopping and all of that stuff. I'm like, that's genius, but I can't do it in the app. But I would be willing to I don't have kids, so it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, I can't do that in the grocery store when the kids are in the cart because they're like the people are sick because my kids are like, I want to talk.
That's funny. Anybody else have any other questions? Anyone? Yeah, okay. If anybody, I don't think anybody has any other questions. One point I wanted to make though, because this is so much information and it's really amazing. And I know, like I said, there's a lot of stuff with you guys that watch Alexa Campbell's video. There was a lot of stuff that Lauren talked about that kind of go hand in hand with what Alexa talked about. So that's why I think this is so great. And I see a lot of you guys saying, oh my gosh, I'm a new coach. There's so much to implement. Do not feel, and Lauren kind of said this already, that you have to go out tomorrow and do every single one of the things that she says tomorrow. We never want you to do that. Like when you go to Summit or you go to an event, or learning all this stuff is good. Writing it down is good. But kind of go over everything and pick out things that you can implement immediately and then plan it. And then each challenge group, you can add it as you go. Nothing has to be done right away, because if you do that, you're going to overwhelm yourself. You're going to get frustrated, and then you're going to want to quit. And Lauren's call will be all for nothing. So please, it's all really great information, but don't feel that you have to implement it all. I would love to, when I post a recording of this in the team page, since so many of you guys were on, and getting everybody else to watch the recording and make them feel bad that they didn't watch the recording live because it was so awesome. Like say like the 2 or 3 things that you're going to immediately implement, and then things that you're going to do later, just so you don't feel like you have to do it right now. Yes, it's fine to not feel like like all of us, any coach who's been successful in the business, when we started, we literally didn't know. And like I know Lauren, joined a while ago too. When I started, there was no trainings of how to do challenge groups. My coach was just like, figure it out. So you guys are lucky that we have all of this stuff, but don't feel like you have to do it all at once. So anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns, anything? We're good? All right, awesome. I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys all for hanging out. Like I said, I'm gonna pick some winners, but I'll post that on the team page. If you're staying up a little bit later, I'll post it soon. But Lauren, thank you so much for hopping on and giving us all your amazing knowledge. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Of course. All right, I'll let you guys go. I'll see you guys later. See you, Lauren.